Hello again, beautiful beings. Welcome back to another live video on Monday. It's also a full moon today, full moon, and I believe eclipse, full moon eclipse. Don't really know much about the astrology, but I'm into it. I love getting astrology readings and kind of figuring out, you know, how does this full moon interact with my chart, even though the chart feels like a foreign language to me. So I hope everyone's doing well. I know it's been a bit of a difficult week. All last week has been really intense. Personally, last night was a pretty good, solid sleep for me. Not as many crazy, vivid dreams. And hopefully, for a lot of you, it was a much better sleep as well. Today, I'm talking all about 3D, 5D vibrations. I've got some amazing truth bombs to drop on you today. A couple of concepts that I'm going to be going over. We're going to be talking about collective fear. This is a perfect time to talk about collective fear and how to basically work with collective fear and essentially transmute the collective fear because this is just the beginning of the collapse. This is the first year of a 4-year cycle of collapse. So we need to know these practices before we get further into it. I also want to talk about a concept that I've been working really hard on just throughout the years. And I've already had a couple of videos about memory, 3D memory, 5D memory. So today I'm going to kind of follow through with that topic. And I'm going to be talking about something called memory linking. I've never talked about this specifically, but it does relate to memory in the third dimension and memory in the fifth dimension. If you haven't already, please write down the 3D to 5D memory video and then search it in my YouTube. It is a very powerful video. The other video that I would actually recommend that you all go back to is the video that I released in January, I believe, which was, I think, my first video of 2020. And it was all about World War III, which is a spiritual warfare, right? And now people are just coming across that video and they're absolutely amazed at the predictions. And they're also saying that all of my predictions are right in alignment with astrology as well. So please check out the World War III video, once again released January of 2020. And then also check out the 3D to 5D memory video. Don't know when I released that. I think it was in 2020 as well, but I've talked about that multiple times before. So definitely check those out. Yeah, and then we're actually going to talk about being in 3D, being in 5D, leveling up your autopilot programming. We're going to talk a little bit more about cognitive dissonance. Yesterday's video was, so good, but I'm just going to follow through on that concept as well. And yeah, it's just a lot of information today. This is definitely a video where I recommend you guys grabbing your notebooks, grabbing your pens, and doing some note taking as well, just because this is an important concept. We're all in between, we're all shifting, things are getting weird. It's really good to kind of have this knowledge and awareness. The other thing that's been really coming up for me recently that's really astounding, and I think that most of you are feeling it too, is time. 2020 by far is I don't want to say the first year ever where we all as a collective, and maybe I should say it is the first year ever, that we all as a collective are feeling time in a very lucid way. Does anyone else, does anyone else feel like, where did 2020 go? What was this year as a whole? And I feel like moving forward, time is only going to be weirder and weirder. Like I'm at this point where I'm like, what day is it? What time is it? I don't know. Could be like 8 p.m. on a Tuesday, but it's like 2 p.m. on a Saturday, right? Like it's just days of the week, time. Like when I say, oh yeah, that happened 2 months ago. No, wait, that happened 2 years ago. It's like I'm literally just crossing out 2020 in my own memory bank. I don't know why. It's like everything in this year has been condensed and compressed. Sometimes this year feels like it's been 10 years. Sometimes this year feels like it's been 2 weeks. It's weird, but I'm not the only one experiencing this phenomenon. And I believe that it's actually due to the fact that we've had these crazy spikes in energy, these crazy dips in energy, and we've really been all over the place. So time itself and the concept of time itself has been all over the place, which leads us into being very open and receptive to the fluidity of the fifth dimension, right? It's pretty cool. Okay, lots to get to, lots to cover today. I also want to mention too, I have a really exciting members video for this week. The new member video always comes out every Thursday. And this week's membership video is all about the difference between your conscious downloads, let's call them your psychic abilities, right? Your ability to download information, and then your own thoughts, right? So I've got a new little piece to present to all of you today about the difference between your own thoughts, your ego thoughts, versus your consciousness thoughts and those downloads coming through. And then I also wanted to talk to the members this week about manifesting do's and don'ts within this new vibration and frequency. So that's going to be really good, and it's going to gear you up. If you're not a member, check out the membership platform. Once again, guys, that allows me to produce tons of free content for all the people who can't afford that $10 per month. So I appreciate you members and all of your epic questions every week as well. Awesome. Okay. So also check out my Instagram page as well. That's kind of where I post a lot of stories and a lot of updates and new products and things that I've got going on. Goes to Instagram. Check out my new Discord channel. That's kind of where I'm chatting. Don't really do the whole Facebook Messenger. Don't really do the whole Instagram DMs, but I love chatting to my people on my new Discord platform. And we already have 1,000 members. It's free. And you don't have to be techie. I'm not techie. It might feel overwhelming, but it's actually pretty cool. And then, and then a lot of you have been asking me about the journey and the videos with my dad. Where can we find those? That's actually on my course platform, the School of Awakening. So just check out the journey. Lauren will link that below, and then we'll probably throw a link to the journey 13 video series as well in the description and the comments below this video as well. 13 videos, $22, 50% of that money goes straight to an Indigenous organization helping out reservations. So it's pretty cool, and I feel good about giving back as well. Last but not least, if you're digging this content and you're really loving this video especially and it resonates with you, super chats and donations are always appreciated, guys. So thank you in advance for all of that. And if not, no big deal. I appreciate you being here. No donations needed. I just really appreciate you guys showing up and opening your minds to this information and knowledge. So let's talk about transmuting collective fear. Once again, we are in the middle of a crazy shift right now between the third dimension, between the fifth dimension, kind of sometimes hanging out in the fourth dimension, right? So it's been a lot of flip-flopping. The symptoms are off the charts right now. Sleeping, sweating, eating, all of it. It's just been so intense. So here's what I recommend, all right? Once again, just because we're stepping into 2021 does not mean all of a sudden the collective fear goes away, quarantine goes away, and we're elevated. You need to elevate yourself before the rest of the world is elevated, or else you're waiting for everyone else. It is time for you to flourish. It is time for you to thrive. It is not time anymore to wait for the collective. We're done waiting for the collective. We're done holding space for everyone else. It's time for us to hold space for ourselves in the highest potential vibrational capacity, okay? This is the time to be selfish, truly, truly, truly. What I channeled about the collective fear, this is really cool. For the rest of humanity, for all the 3D humans out there, and you gotta love them, right? You gotta love the 3D humans. For all the 3D humans out there, there is going to be a point in time where they get sick of fear, right? So it's funny. These are people who, before quarantine, they would watch the news every day. They would hate on Trump every day. They would, do their thing, right? But they would participate in the matrix every day. And I think that when someone who isn't aware of what's going on experiences and re-experiences trauma over and over and over and over again, one day They're just going to throw it all out and say, I'm sick of being in fear. I'm sick of being traumatized by the news every day. I'm sick of worrying every day about my life. One thing that this current predicament is allowing us to do, it's really cool, really, really cool. It's allowing us to confront our deepest fear. Our deepest fear is the fear of death. And at first, you know, with the pandemic and everything going on, oh my God, we're all gonna die. So what? Cool. That was in your contracts already, right? Holding space, having trust, surrendering, being vulnerable, all important concepts. But eventually, what I channeled, and hopefully sooner rather than later, all of the people out there who haven't awakened are going to get sick of the fear. They're going to get sick of it. And through hitting rock bottom, through hitting an overemphasis of trauma every day, of hitting this point where you've got no energy left to put behind low vibrational frequency, there is only one direction to go. Going up, raising your vibration, seeking alternative methods of information, seeking alternative vibrations to the fear, right? That's where we're going as a collective. And I mean, hopefully people give up their fear sooner rather than later. And hopefully the majority of you are out of the fear. Because we do need to be holding space for our own highest vibration, which means that we're also subsequently holding space for the collective's highest vibration. We are that first wave. We are the ones that are going to be holding space. We are the ones on the airplane during turbulence saying, it's going to be okay to your neighbors. We've got to be those ones. We've got to be those people, right? But also it's okay to have fear. It's totally natural. Because if I were to tell you it's not okay to have fear and that you're wrong for having any sort of fear, especially when the entire world is fear-mongering, then you're going to be hating on yourself and thinking that you're not brave enough, or you're not spiritual enough, or you're not high vibrational enough because you feel fear, right? And you get into a repetitive pattern again and again and again. So it's a fine line, right? It's a lot to navigate. And we're going to actually cover that a little bit more later on. So the collective is in fear. It's up to you to rise above it. It's up to you to blast your music, whatever that may be. Taylor Swift, Selena Gomez, I don't know, Celine Dion, right? I don't know what you listen to, but blasting your music, dancing around, having a good time, right? Playing with your crystals. That's the energy that we need to be holding, is rising above that collective fear. Yeah, and once again, holding space for you is going to be really important as well, is transmuting that collective fear by holding space for you. Let's get into the next concept that I have here, and it's called memory linking. Like I said, I've talked extensively about memory, and more and more and more and more and more and more and more, memory is just such a huge concept that comes up that is so freaking important when we are transmuting and transitioning into the fifth dimension frequency. The reason why is because we need to actually condense all of our memory together and let go of the traditional sense of memory. The reason why is because if we are trying to remember something in this present moment about something that happened in our life, okay, we're only focusing on the linear aspect of this in particular reality without understanding that we've got an entire bank of infinite knowledge that is waiting for us to tap into. But the more that you focus on this one reality, the more you actually forget about the fact that you have this huge bank of Akashic records throughout all of your past lifetimes and future lifetimes on and off this planet. It's okay to let go of your memory. As a matter of fact, You have to let go of your memory in order to transition into 5D memory, which is just tapping in instantaneously. That's what I do. That's how I channel. I just tap in because I let go of my current state of being. Okay. So memory linking is a concept within the concept of memory and 3D memory and 5D memory, but I do have a full video out there, 3D and 5D memory. Check it out. Memory linking is when you have an experience in your life and you link that experience to something within that experience. So, say, for example, the experience is super low vibrational. Maybe it's a death in the family. Maybe it's a car accident. Maybe it's a broken bone. Maybe it's whatever it may be. But it creates a lot of pain, whether it be physically, emotionally, but there's that density there. Okay. And during, say, for example, it was a car accident, and during that car accident, you had a song playing on the radio, and then the car accident happens at the same time. Every single time moving forward that you listen to that same song, you've now linked a very emotional pain and physical pain to a song. Memory linking, memory linking, memory linking. Now, likewise, we do this all the time in all the other ways. Something that just popped into my mind about memory linking is a weird thing that I do, but I have a weird thing with water bottles. I'm just going to say it because it popped up. So it depends. It could be every 2 weeks. Typically, it's not. It could be every 6 months. I have to change my water bottle, and it's bad. Like it's a waste. It is. It's wasteful. And I had to ask myself, why don't I like I literally just stopped drinking water because I don't want to drink water from that water bottle. And then one day I asked myself, I said, why do I do this? Like, why is this a repeated pattern? Like, why don't I want to touch my water bottle anymore? And the reason why is because I've now linked it to the past 6 months of all these memories that no longer feel like it's a part of me because my water bottle's with me everywhere, right? So I've accepted that, and I do change my water bottle whenever I intuitively feel. Sometimes, if I have a really intense experience in 1 month, I can't drink from the water bottle afterwards, and I just get a new water bottle. Okay. So I personally am very sensitive to memory linking because I don't want to live my life with baggage. Like, imagine that. Every pen that you use, every water bottle that you drink from, the headphones that you wear, the clothing that you have, the bracelets that you wear, are all linked to a person, a time, a place, an energy, a vibration, a frequency, a depth, you know? And yeah, sure. We burn some sage and we clear the energy of our crystals because we know that they hold energy and frequency, but we don't necessarily burn sage and clear our water bottles, right? So, with the concept of memory linking, we are all walking around every single day with this huge bag of emotion and memories just dragging around. So, we're actually not updated in the present moment. We are existing as fractals of our past. And if you're existing as fractals of your past, that's a lot of energy to be in the present moment. And it doesn't allow you to be free, right? Just like if I were to go drink my water and I had some sort of experience and I wasn't resonating with the water bottle, I'm drinking that water. I'm not being in the present moment. Part of me, a very subtle, subconscious aspect of me, is actually resisting the water that I'm drinking, which isn't a great vibe to put out when you're drinking water, right? So, memory linking is important because in order to move into 5D frequency, we need to let go of memory. We need to let go of linking aspects of our memory to the past. It doesn't serve us, and it's a lot to carry around. One of the more scary symptoms of 5D awakening and raising your vibration is letting go of your memory and forgetting things, right? I don't know, has anyone here had memory issues in the past couple of years? I mean, there have been bouts of maybe a month or two where it's like, boom, like I walk into a room and it's like gone. Or I'm talking in the middle of a sentence and it's just, it's out of my mind, right? It's scary. Now, for me, it's not as scary because I'm like, okay, I'm 28, I'm in good shape, I've got a good mind, like I'm not like losing it, you know? I couldn't imagine, even if you are awakened, being 50, 60, 70, 80, and losing your memory, thinking that early stages of Alzheimer's, right? Or what have you, right? But there's extra fears with age. So I want to let you know that losing your memory is very common because we're moving into 5D memory. Please go watch my video after this, maybe 3D to 5D memory. It literally teaches you how to transmute 3D memory and move into 5D memory. It teaches you how to actually access your 5D memory, which is infinite Akashic records, which is pretty cool. So memory can make us stuck. Negative and positive associations with memories basically equal, once again, a lot to hang on to. So don't get attached to your memory. Please, 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 please. And I call it associative memory, right? Memory linking, I call associative memory. That's all memory is, right? This is the re-experience in your mind of the emotions and the moment and the visuals of what took place. Um, okay, so how to transmute memory in general, how to literally, from moment to moment, not create new memories moving forward. It doesn't mean that everything's blank all the time. It means that you're trusting and allowing your subconscious mind to take everything in, regardless of what you're focused on, and store it in cloud storage. You have like 10 terabytes of storage in a cloud that's all around you that you can access at any time. All right. So try not to focus or overemphasize needing to be so in the present moment that you're remembering and taking it all in. You already have it. And I really had to practice this when I got these huge downloads in the past, right? Years and years ago. It's like, oh my God, I have to write everything down or else I'm going to forget this download. Now, when I have a huge download, every once in a while, I write notes and stuff, and I've got a lot of notes. Um, but I'll just remind myself to trust that I have the information that's coming through to me. So I don't have to grip onto all of it and try and store it. Let's call it 100 terabytes of cloud storage, 1 gigabyte of brain storage. Like, come on, we're human. We've got limitations, right? Okay, cool. So, how to transmute memory in the present moment. Maintain objective awareness, right? The more we're like, oh, this is great. Oh, this is awful. Oh, this is great. Oh, this is awful. Okay. And I know that we're kind of there because we're flip flopping between 3D, 4D, 5D. But the more that you have reaction over things from moment to moment, the more you're creating that memory of those things. Okay. So maintaining objective awareness. Second thing is, uh, doesn't mean that you're a robot, doesn't mean that you don't react to emotion at all, because I've been there. It's not a fun place to be. You lose your humanity in so many ways. So, what I recommend is reacting to emotion and with emotion appropriately. You know, if you feel something in the present moment, like I mentioned at the beginning, if it's fear, feel the fear. If you're trying to suppress, if you're trying to distract, if you're trying to switch it and you don't authentically, organically feel like you're aligned to switch it, then just be with it because you're actually creating more karma, more energetic reverberation by trying to do something else with that energy and emotion in the moment rather than just surrendering to it, feeling happy, feeling sad, feeling shitty, feeling great from moment to moment. You complete the cycle. You have the reaction, you feel the emotion, you allow yourself to feel the emotion, and you don't need to hang on to any of that moving forward. It just is what it is. Okay? So, maintaining objective awareness, react with emotion appropriately. And then the third thing that I would recommend to transmute memory is to be present with all things, right? To really be present rather than like, oh, I don't want to drink out of this water bottle because I had a bad experience with it, I don't know, a week ago or whatever, I don't know. And then drinking the water and holding that energy. Just be present with the water bottle. It's such a silly example in the present moment, and really enjoying that moment with that thing rather than pulling upon old things into the present. Okay, so let's dive into being in 3D and being in 5D, okay? A lot of this stuff you guys already know, but I need to reiterate it because here we are. We're switching rapidly. I'm going to specifically focus on the feelings that you're going to feel in 3D versus 5D. And then I will talk just slightly about the physicality of your reality in 3D and 5D. But right now, the huge focus on 3D, 5D is the perception. It's the vibration. It's the feels. It's not the physical yet. That comes after. Okay, so being in 3D at this time, here are some symptoms. We're all flip-flopping. So not one of you is always going to be in 3D, in 4D, or in 5D. Okay. If you think I'm a pretty awesome teacher, I am far away from being in 5D all the time. All right. I've got a pretty good life and I'm in gratitude most of the time, but I have my moments. All right. So there's also no expectation to uphold a certain frequency in every given moment. No one's judging you. It's okay to react. All right. So being in 3D looks like and feels like this: reactive, stubborn, attached, being in victim, or being in a place where you're blaming, not accepting the present moment. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough resources. I'm not where I need to be. That's 3D. Okay, not accepting the present moment is 3D. Wanting or needing something else, right? I don't have enough, or I need more than this, or I need, it's not enough, that kind of wanting or needing something else is also 3D. What else? Obviously, being fear-based is 3D, or like being full of worry all the time, or just being negative is 3D. So those are just some of the things, right? And they're all just kind of negative reactions and emotions and things that we can experience. Like I said, it's okay to be negative in that moment, as long as you bring closure to that negative moment and really ask yourself, why do I feel this way? Or why am I really reacting, in this moment? Now, if you are in a low vibration or a third density frequency long enough, your physical reality is going to mirror your internal reality, right? What you focus on, that negativity, that mindset, that lack, is going to be created and amplified in your physical life. And anything physically takes a lot longer to accumulate and manifest than the thoughts, right? So the one word that I would say about a 3D physical reality is lack. You have lack in every way. You're lacking social connections, you're lacking a good job, you're lacking just happiness, you're lacking a place that you feel comfortable in. It's just lack. It's lack all around, right? So that's physically, you're going to feel lack in all of your physical ways. Okay. Energetically, emotionally, you're always going to be focusing on the negative, right? And that's just what 3D is. And I think you guys already knew that. Okay, yes. And then I also wanted to talk just briefly about leveling up your autopilot. This is really cool. So I was actually going to write down on the 3D list autopilot. Oh, it's so 3D to be on autopilot. And I said, no, actually, it's not. Being 3D being an autopilot is just a state of being. It's not necessarily negative or positive. The state of being in autopilot just means that you're not really conscious, you're not really thinking things through, and you're just going ahead and doing what your program wants you to do. The coolest thing about autopilot and programming is that you can reprogram your autopilot. So instead of feeling really depressed and really crappy one day and going to eat, 5 chocolate bars and watch some Netflix and, do a little bit of self-sabotage and just, wallow in your sorrows, you actually upgrade your autopilot. You reprogram your autopilot to be like, oh, I'm having a crappy day, which is okay. So you know what? I'm going to journal write. I'm going to relax. I'm going to savasana for 2 hours. I'm going to, take a walk outside, right? So work with your autopilot. Autopilot is not a bad thing. It's only a bad thing when it accumulates behaviors that aren't aligned to your highest vibration and intention. Upgrade your autopilot. Okay. Okay, cool. I also wanted to take the concept of cognitive dissonance to the next level. So, okay, hopefully this makes sense. So, cognitive dissonance, which I talked about in yesterday's video, is just the misalignment of, and I know a lot of you were correcting me on the definition of cognitive dissonance. I just have my own definitions. I literally just take the English language and I create it as my own, and that's why I try and define terms. But for me, cognitive dissonance is your thoughts are one thing, your actions are another thing, and there's a disharmony within your system. I don't know what else to call that. Um, and so you take cognitive dissonance, this misalignment between thoughts and actions, you add the awareness, and it actually equals 4D, the fourth dimension. So you're like, oh, I'm eating this bag of chips, but I really want it to be healthy. So here I am taking an action that goes against my thoughts and intentions. Oh, this isn't good, but you're aware of it. So you're a step above 3D in the way that 3D is just like, hey, I'm all over the place and I'm disharmonious, but I'm not even aware of it. So I'm not going to take responsibility over it. Being 4D, step up in a way, in this way in particular, is okay, so I'm aware of the cognitive dissonance. I'm aware that my actions and my thoughts aren't aligned. Amazing. Awareness is everything when moving into a new vibration. Okay. Now, to take the cognitive dissonance plus the awareness, which is 4D, and move it and shift it into 5D, what we need to do is take cognitive dissonance, add the awareness, and then you add the action. I'm aware that I'm disharmonious in this way, and the action that I'm going to take to become more harmonious is this. And then you take the action. Then all of a sudden you're like, I'm misaligned. I'm aware of the misalignment, and this is what I'm going to do to realign me. Boom, full circle. You leave nothing hanging. All right. That's the best place to be in. That's bringing it into 5D frequency. That's transmuting the cognitive dissonance into a place where you can be aligned and happy about it. Awesome. Okay. So I also want to just say and mention that symptoms, right? So we're talking about how you feel in 3D and how you feel in 5D, and basically what your physical reality should look like in 3D and 5D. So where do symptoms, we've all had a lot of symptoms, all right? Where do symptoms come into play with the feelings and the behaviors of 3D, 5D? I believe that symptoms are actually just an experience of the shifting between 3D, 4D, and 5D. Symptoms are just the experience of the shifting within vibration. Okay. I'm getting hot sweats at night. I'm not able to sleep properly. I'm really hungry, or I'm lack of appetite, or I'm, feeling pains in my chest, or whatever it may be. Okay. Those symptoms are an indirect correlation to you shifting vibrations. Your cellular body has to shift as your vibrational body shifts. So it's going to create a lot of these symptoms. And you may feel like you're dying every once in a while. All right. I have definitely felt like I'm dying a couple of times in the past couple of years, right? Whether that be emotionally or physically. But in a lot of ways, our minds go straight to fear base. I'm dying. I must have cancer. Something must be horribly wrong with me. And then you wait it out, and all of a sudden, it goes as quickly as it comes, and you realize it's just energy, but it's making a very strong physical effect, right? So it really comes down to trust in a lot of ways as well. Okay, good. All right. So last but not least, this is what you should be feeling in 5D frequency. Carefree is the first word that came to me. And I think that this word, carefree, really just sums up 5D frequency. Everything's good. I feel great. Everything's aligned. I'm so trusting. Carefree is being in the present moment. The world could be collapsing around you. The pandemic is increasing every day, apparently. And you're just on a cloud. You're just smiling, not in an ignorant way, in a fully aware way, that you feel carefree, right? You're just kind of floating, and I love that. You're floating while being grounded, right? So carefree. Also, a couple other things in 5D: being open, like just being open. And the more and more that you're open, the more and more it means that you have zero expectation, you have zero attachment to what comes in the next moment. And that creates this utter feeling of relaxation. Once again, it really comes into play with that word carefree, right? It's just being relaxed in moment to moment. Yeah, I'm where I need to be. I trust this moment. I'm relaxed. I'm free, you know? It's so good. It's so good. Being 5D is just such a liberating feeling. None of this physical shit matters, you know? And when you let go of how much you thought it mattered before, it actually starts amplifying and growing, and you start thriving naturally. You start losing weight without even having to work at it. You start getting more money without even having to worry about it, right? That's 5D. It's just, but it's really utter trust. And we all have trust issues, right? So, yeah, so it's important. Also, unconditional love. Just really experiencing unconditional love for your partner, even if they're annoying, for your plants, for your animals, for yourself, unconditional love for yourself. Like, you will experience more and more of these moments where you're just going about your day. Maybe you're in autopilot and you just stop and you're like, damn, life is good. Or, wow, that flower is just so beautiful, right? Or, wow, that snow really glistens in the sunlight, you know? Just having more and more of those moments. And you'll know that's 5D. That is 5D, people. Okay. You probably don't even know that you're in 5D most of the time. Trusting, of course, huge concept in 5D. Patience, so important to be in 5D. Being connected and feeling connected to every living thing, energetically and physically, is being in 5D. The other word that I put down is magnetic, being magnetic in all of your vibrations, and then also being heart spaced as well, like heart centered, you know, rather than mind, like, how do I figure this out? What's the problem? What can I do to fix this? You know, it's like, just relax, just be here. You're good. You know, being in that heart space center is so important. So, so important. And then physically, what do you feel, right, in 5D physically? That you have more than enough, whether it be with your friends, your family members, your partner, your living situation, the food in your fridge, you know, the water in your water bottle. I have more than enough. That's what 5D physically feels like. And the longer that you maintain a higher vibration, doesn't matter how often you're switching back and forth, the longer you maintain that high vibration, the more your physical reality starts to shift into the vibration of more than enough, of thriving, of absolute abundance in all of the ways. Continue to be patient, my friends. Continue to hold space. Continue to hold the highest vibration. Continue to find gratitude in every little aspect of your life because you're here for a reason. You've got a mission on this planet. You are a piece of this collective puzzle. We need you at this time. Don't get sucked into the collective fear. Don't get sucked into 3D. And other than that, members, I will see you all Thursday for an epic video. Like I mentioned, the next membership video is going to be about the difference between your downloads, right? Psychic, intuitive thoughts, and your own ego thoughts. Other than that, guys, check me out on Instagram, daily updates on IG, and I will see the rest of you on Sunday for another epic Q&A. Have a beautiful full moon eclipse. Have a great rest of your day. Set your intentions. Energies are getting really intense at this time. I love all of you so, so much. Keep up the good work. You are exactly where you need to be. Bye for now.